But Jeff has taken a strong stance on complementarianism. I too have taken a very strong stance on complementarianism, if we want to call it that. The guys over at It Is Good to Be a Man they've come up with a different term called gendered piety. I tend to like their explanation of that, although I get both terms. So
they actually call it, like, I think gender piety is the overall doctrinal view with regard to both men and women, but when they're referring to men, they call it patriarchalism.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And so basically I see one of the biggest downfalls of the church, of the modern church today and even the conservative modern church, like the Southern Baptist Convention. And this is why Rob and I talked about this a little bit when the woes that are happening at SBC. I see one of the biggest issues, the idea that women can be elders. And one of the reasons I see that is because I think that this is the place that the Trojan horse comes in. And I think, and we'll talk about the hermeneutic that is used to bring this in. But I think that ultimately what happens is the hermeneutic that is used to say that women can be elders is the same hermeneutic that has led the LGBTQ movement to be able to say, well, we believe that homosexuals should be not only members of the church, but also should be elders of the church. Now, I have started writing a series on this. In fact, I posted, I think the first one to the public, I posted just this last Tuesday on Growing in Messiah, on roles within God's structure for both home and church. You can go check that out if you'd like to. But you also, Jeff, have started writing on this and have gotten some major pushback. Talk to me a little bit about not only your stance, but also the hermeneutic that you believe is used to bring this in and why it's such a dangerous hermeneutic. And go.
Okay. Yeah, so I want to say something to kind of qualify something you had said there a little bit, because I think that there can be a bit of a misunderstanding when you say that the hermeneutic that's used to get to egalitarianism is the same that them peoples use.
Yep.
Them folk out there. Now the
LGBTQ
community. Yeah, there we go. Community uses to get to their doctrinal position. You're not saying, and I mean, I'm certainly not saying either, that people that believe in egalitarianism will eventually believe in the other. Now, maybe they do, but maybe they don't. That's not the point. The point is that the way that they arrived at their conclusion is the same way. Now, you can use that same methodology inconsistently, right? But it is the same methodology. And so I want to make that clear, because I do have friends that are egalitarian, and I'm not suggesting that they will start espousing.
Yeah, one day all of a sudden say, come on in, homosexuals, and be our leaders.
Yeah. So I'm not suggesting that. And but I do think that they probably – I don't know that they've given it, and maybe they have, and I'm willing to open the door for discussion with these people. But I'm concerned that they haven't thought through the methodology that they've employed to get to egalitarianism. And
right.
One of those methodologies, as it's used in the New Testament, is called the socio-rhetorical method. And it can be used appropriately, but the problem is that when you approach the scripture as though, when Paul is saying, women should not exercise authority over a man, nor should they teach, and you're saying, oh, well, that was cultural because of the cult of Artemis, or the temple of Artemis that was in that area, and that was the reason that they're saying these things. Well, you've taken some very large leaps, and you've assumed that maybe there was something cultural happening, but that Paul didn't mean that in some like plain common sense, when we have lots of other scriptures that kind of indicate that, yeah, he probably did mean that way. Like a good example, I think, would be if I was writing to my children saying, hey, avoid casinos at all costs. They're money pits, and they're going to get you in trouble. And somebody like 100 or 200 years from now reads the letter they wrote to my kids, and they did some historical cross-referencing. They look at in my area and they find, well, there's this casino that was really well known for extorting people and ripping people off. And that was why Jeff wrote that to his kids. But maybe not. Maybe the truth is that I wrote that because casinos are money pits and they should stay away from them.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell us your thoughts on this subject by leaving a comment in the comment section. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and enable those notifications. And we'll see you in the next video.